6 p.m. Cairo local time. Welcome to Channel 2 News Bulletin. I'm Abir Mitwali. President Sisi and visiting Lebanese President Joseph Aoun address a press conference. The death toll of Israeli attacks in Gaza rise to 52 after basic food aid pledge. And Trump to call Putin and push for Ukraine's ceasefire. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Monday said Egypt continues its intensive efforts with key regional and international players to push Israel into an immediate and unconditional withdrawal from the Lebanese territories and to respect a ceasefire agreement. Addressing a press conference with visiting Lebanese President Joseph Aoun on Monday, the president also said a full and concurrent implementation of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1701 is required to ensure the Lebanese state sole sovereignty over its territories. President Sisi also called on the international community to shoulder its responsibilities towards the reconstruction of Lebanon. He also called for respecting Syria's sovereignty and integrity, as well as Israeli withdrawal from occupied Syrian hands. Over the situation in Gaza, the head of state said his talks with his Lebanese counterpart asserted the imperative need to put an end to the aggression and to resume a ceasefire, a release of all hostages and prisoners, and humanitarian aid entry into the enclave urgently. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi stressed the call for an international support to a Gaza reconstruction plan without a relocation of its population. And earlier, the president led a reception ceremony for the visiting Lebanese president upon his arrival at the Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace in Cairo. Both presidents inspected the guards of the honor while national anthems of both countries were played. Then a closed-door meeting was held between the two presidents, followed by extended talks that tackled boosting economic cooperation, notably in the fields of infrastructure, energy, and reconstruction. The talks also discussed mechanisms for supporting Lebanon's stability, restoring regional stability and security amid grave challenges hitting the entire region. Israel would prefer to end the Ukraine conflict through diplomacy than on battlefield, hours ahead of an important call between Presidents Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Trump's expected phone call with Putin is part of the U.S. leader's efforts to end the grinding war. Trump said he would also speak to Ukrainian President Zelensky and NATO officials, expressing hope that a ceasefire will take place and that this war will end. Meanwhile, Russian attacks killed the elderly man and woman in Kherson, according to Ukrainian sources. They added that the attacks had damaged 2 apartment buildings, 17 private houses, and a factory, among other infrastructure. Back home, where Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli gave directives to take full account of the drowned antiquities in Abu Qir and to put a plan to recover them and put them in museums. He also directed the officials to put a vision within a month for the tourist locations that can be spots for tourism diving to see these ancient artifacts. This came in a meeting held by Prime Minister to benefit from the drowned antiquities on Abu Qir Bay with the attendance of Tourism and Antiquities Governor of Alexandria and a number of concerned officials. Madbouli stressed the importance of the study of how to benefit from Alexandria drowned antiquities in the framework of supporting the tourism sector, considered as one of the promising sectors in the Egyptian economy. The executive chief of official Hajj mission on Monday announced that the first group of Egyptian pilgrims along the Interior Ministry-led lottery mission arrived in Mecca, Saudi Arabia on Monday ahead of the annual Hajj season. The group included 1,000 pilgrims who also visited the Prophet Muhammad's mosque in Medina before heading to Mecca. The mission chief said the airlift between Egypt and Saudi Arabia to transport pilgrims to the sacred places in Mecca and Medina will continue over the upcoming days. Minister of Planning and Economic Development and International Cooperation Rania Al-Mashat today met the European Commissioner for International Partnerships, Joseph Silka. The meeting touched on enhancing the strategic partnership between both sides, with the minister reviewing ongoing efforts for the implementation of a mechanism supporting the wholesale economy and decreasing the budgetary deficit to the tune of €4 billion. The meeting also tackled pursuits for activating a mechanism for granting insurance to investment in the private sector with the aim of attracting European investments to the local market. The executive chief of the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, Hassan Heba, said today that Egypt attaches a top priority to Chinese investments. The authority chief made these remarks as he received a Chinese business delegation headed by the governor of the Chinese Guangdong province. The meeting touched on the agenda of the investment cooperation for the second half of the current fiscal year. According to data issued by the authority, the number of Chinese companies operating in Egypt amounted to 2,800 with an investment cost of more than $8 billion. Egypt's stock market closed lower today amid sell-offs by locals and foreign corporations against purchases by Arab corporations and local Arab and foreign investors. The market capital of listed companies lost 21 billion Egyptian pounds, reaching 2.2 trillion pounds at the end of the transactions. The benchmark index dipped to 1.1% above the 31,355 point mark. The equal-weighted indices EGX 70 and EGX 100 both fell 0.8%. And moving to the sports news, Villarreal dampened Barcelona's title celebrations by handing the Catalan club its first defeat of 2025 in the Spanish league on Sunday. Barcelona, which clinched its 28th league title midweek, presented the trophy to its fans in the team's final home match of the season. Villarreal victory secured its return to the Champions League for the first time since reaching the semi-finals in 2022. It will join Barcelona, Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Atletico Bilbao in Europe's top club competition next season. Carlos Alcaraz had title trouble dismantling Yannick Sinner in the Italian Open final, seating a 7-6, 6-1 victory to snap the world number one's 26-match winning streak yesterday. Alcaraz edged a tense opening set in a tie-break after he and Sinner traded blows from the baseline. However, from the second set onwards, Alcaraz completely outplayed Sinner, cruising to victory in their first ever clash in a Masters 1000 final. For Sinner, it was particularly disappointing that he could not make it a double celebration for Italy after Jasmine Paolini won the women's title a day earlier. That's all from me, Abir Mitwalli. Thanks for watching and please stay tuned.